Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tracy in LA, the podcast. We're now on episode 30. That feels like sort of a big deal. If you've listened to all 30 episodes, I feel like you should get a prize or something, but I don't have prizes. And also, I have no idea who's listened to any episode. Well, unless you've told me, but I really don't know if you've listened to all 30 episodes. If you want to continue listening to these and remaining anonymous, congratulations. You are. I am wearing a little lipstick. I feel like this lipstick is a little bit too bright. I feel like I need like a deeper red or something. I am parked near a Target right now, so maybe after I finish this, I'll get some new lipstick or like maybe a tinted lip gloss that's like a little bit of a deeper red or just not so like, I feel like this red has like a pinkish tint to it and maybe I don't want the pinkish tint. I don't know. I'm getting a little bit thoughtful about makeup these days. Once in a while, I'm wearing a tiny bit, and it's been interesting. I feel like I do need to turn on my car, actually, because I thought I was going to survive with the car off because it's like 8 a.m., but it is already hot, and it's supposed to be a high of 85 today, so let's turn on the car because I am sweating. And we're back with a little bit of air conditioning. I feel much better now. What was I talking about? I'm parked outside of Target right now. I was thinking about maybe, I do sort of need new lip gloss anyway, so maybe I'll get a tinted one that's like a better shade of red, possibly. I don't know. I also sort of want to get like a 4th of July shirt or something. I just think that section in Target and different stores looks really fun with all the red, white, and blue, and I'm going to go to a dance class today. It's 4th of July. I'm going to go to a dance class. I sort of feel like I want to wear like a 4th of July shirt or something, but is that a waste of money? But maybe it's only like $5. Maybe I can find a shirt for like $5 or something. I don't know. Because I'm really not doing anything for 4th of July because I literally just dropped my mom off at the airport this morning. She was here all week, so I was kind of on vacation, not doing any of my regular work, editing, shooting, anything like that. So we were just doing fun stuff like every day, going out to eat, going to the beach, seeing movies, all this stuff that I don't normally do. And it was awesome. It was fun. And now I sort of feel like not doing anything today, except I am going to go to dance. And then tomorrow morning, I'm moving out of my house sitting house back to my regular house. So I kind of have a lot to clean up because I've been living here for like 3 weeks. So I don't really feel like I have time to go do anything for 4th of July. And sometimes from their house, I can sort of see some fireworks anyway. So maybe I'll just hang out in the hot tub and like prop my head up and see what fireworks I can see at night. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Anything is possible. God could direct me in a way that I'm not expecting, and maybe I will end up doing something. Who knows? But anyways, yeah, so I dropped my mom off at the airport this morning. That was really fun, spending all week with her. I wanted to talk about some of the highlights of that, which it was really fun to have my mom experience a little bit more of my dance life than normal. I feel like we've never done that before. Like anytime she's come here or I've gone to Illinois where she's at, I don't think we've experienced dance stuff together, except for sometimes we'll see like a show or a dance show together. Like my mom will find something in Chicago, or like she knows I love dance, so we'll do something dance related in that way, but she's never really experienced like my dance life with me, so that was kind of fun. And she was saying before she came out here that she sort of wanted to take a dance class with me, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, of course, yes, I would love for you to do that. But my mom doesn't really, she's sort of never taken a dance class. Like she used to when she was young, like a little kid, but she has not done anything like that in many years. So I didn't think she'd actually be able to necessarily pick up choreography or do something that exerts a lot of energy. So I got this idea because my favorite ballet studio is really close to my house sitting house, the one where I watch the cat. So I was like, oh my gosh, what if we took an intro to ballet class? Because I've taken intro to ballet before. I don't know why. I ever took intro to ballet at this place, because by the time I was going to that ballet studio, I was definitely past intro. But maybe I just thought, oh, it's an advanced studio. Maybe intro would be really good for me to like really get the basics down better. That's probably why I took it. I don't know. But when I took it back then, it was so easy that it was like boring for me. So I'm like, oh, that would be perfect for my mom. Like, it wouldn't be boring for me to go with my mom because it would be so fun to like watch her and do it with her and experience that with her. So I found an intro to ballet class with a different teacher than who I had back then when I took it. And it's a teacher I really like. And I've taken his advanced class before, which was too advanced for me, but I took it because my friend takes it and she wanted me to come. And so we took it. It was an amazing class. And he was super nice to me, even though I was struggling the whole time. So I thought to myself, okay, if he also teaches intro to ballet, and if my mom is struggling, I know he's going to be nice to her because he was nice to me when I was struggling in his advanced class. So I felt good about that. I also think he's a really good teacher. So I encourage my mom that I think she's going to really like it. I think it's going to go good. And at first she really wanted to do it, and she never backed out of it. She never said she didn't want to do it anymore, but I kept thinking she might. And she was just going to wear socks because like she doesn't have ballet shoes. And then when we were first preparing for it the day before, she was telling me she only had like jeans or something. And I was like, oh, you didn't bring anything to even like work out in or something that's comfortable. So that was kind of funny. I mean, she only brought a carry-on, so she was trying to be like minimalist. But so I gave her some of my sweatpants. Fortunately, that worked out. Anyway, when we were going there in the morning, it was a 7:30 class. All their intro to ballet, well, most of their intro to ballet classes are at 7:30, which is crazy. But my mom was like, oh, that's later for me because I'm on Chicago time, so it's no big deal. So we got up in time, we went, and I could tell she was getting nervous, and I kept trying to encourage her that she was going to be fine. But then I ran into one of my friends. I didn't think I would see any of my friends at an intro to ballet class because most of my ballet friends at that studio are taking advanced classes and stuff. And I see one of my friends, and I'm like, wait, you're taking intro to ballet? And she's like, yes, I love this class. And I was like, oh, no, it's probably hard. It's probably hard, and oh no. I asked her, I like whispered to her, is it hard? I was like, just say no, say no. She was like, yeah. Well, I don't remember exactly what she said, but she was saying how it was helping her so much. And I was like, okay, but like, is my mom going to be okay? She's like, never taken a dance class, or she did take ballet when she was little up until she was like 10, but nothing since then. And she's older. But my friend was like, oh no, she'll be fine. The teacher kind of just goes along with like whoever's in the class and what people need. And then my mom was feeling bad. She's like, oh, great. Everyone's going to be mad at me that he has to go slow now. So anyway, it was cool that I ran into her. I was actually really excited to take it with a friend as well. And then I ran into another friend who was taking a more advanced class that was also at 7:30. I'm like, how many 7:30 classes did this place have? This is crazy. It reminds me of in college, my freshman year of college, I signed up for a 7:30 accounting class, which is like, why did I do that? But I didn't know what I was doing my freshman year. And I did that for a semester and was like, never again will I sign up for any class that starts at 7:30. And also, never again will I take an accounting class. My degree was in marketing, and I think I just had to take one accounting class. That class was so hard. It was the only class that I felt like, I don't know if I'm going to pass this. Everything else was fine. I did pass it, and I think I talked to my advisor and like got help and stuff. I don't know why it was so hard for me. I'm like pretty good with numbers. I was always good at math in high school. I took AP classes, and I'm good with like spreadsheets and stuff. I don't know why that class was so hard for me. I don't remember why. I just know it was. Anyways, 7:30 ballet class. We're there. We're energized. We're ready. And yeah, we got in there early. I found a place at the bar by my mom, and I got to stand. I stood in front of her so that when we did the right side, I was in front of her. And then when we turned around, I was in back of her, but there was someone that was pretty good that was on the other side of her. So I was like, you can just watch them when we're going that way. So anyway, the teacher was amazing. It was actually such a good class. If I was living closer to that studio and had enough money to take any class I want, although I sort of feel like I do. I'm going to talk to you about that in a second. I would probably just take that class along with advanced classes because, wow, the balancing and the arms that he had us do, and it's like the basics, but it was really good even for people that are more advanced. It was really helping me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to take this class. He teaches it twice a week. I'm like, I would love to take this class twice a week. That would be amazing. I can see why my friend does that. Anyways, my mom does not work out normally. I mean, she like walks a little bit and rides a stationary bike or a regular bike sometimes. but she doesn't like really stretch. Or although I sent her my 5-minute back stretching video and my foam rolling video and was like, you should try to do these. And then you can hang out with me every day on this video. But yeah, she's just like not prepared for a ballet class, you know? But I was watching her in the mirror and she was really following along and keeping up. And the teacher was helping her specifically, which was really nice. At one point towards the end, he wanted us to all stretch on the bar. And so he wanted us to put our leg up on the bar, which, I mean, that's hard for me to do. And I've been doing this a long time. My mom, you know, could not get her leg up there and it was bent and everything. And so my mom was just like, I can't do it. I can't put my leg up there. But the teacher was not going to be satisfied with that. He was like, okay, let's see. And he sees this like lower bar that's in the back of the room. He moves her to the back of the room so that she can put her leg up on the bar. My mom is afraid of like falling over. She's also like, I have a bad back. And he's like, you will put your leg up on this bar. I mean, he didn't say it like that, but he was really like, okay, you're in this class. You need to get your money's worth. So yeah, he helped her get her leg up on that bar and gave her like a little bit of a modified stretch to do. And she was really doing it back there. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. And then she was even doing the center work. We didn't do a long period of time in the center, but that center work was hard for me. It wasn't like it was hard to remember because they weren't crazy combinations. Actually, one of them was a little bit hard to remember, but it was just the balancing of it all with what he had us doing. I was like, man, I'm struggling. It's kind of embarrassing that I'm struggling in this intro to ballet class, but I had so much joy. Oh my gosh. When we were done with that class, like, you know, my mom's like, are you tired? I'm like, I am so energized. After dance class, I feel like I could do a million things. Like I feel like I could change the world. Like I feel so energized after dance class. So that was really fun for me. And I asked my mom if she had fun. She's like, I mean, that was a really good experience. I was so glad to experience that with you. She's like, I think she said, I don't know if I would use the word fun, but I'm like, for me, I'm like, that was so fun. I loved that so much. But you know, that's what I'm called to. And that's not necessarily what my mom was called to. Oh, she said she really enjoyed coming with me. She's glad she did it. But she said it reminded her of why she stopped doing ballet when she was little. She actually never took ballet in an actual ballet class. She took ballet regularly, and she even was doing pointe for a little bit when she was like 12 or something. But she told me that it was private lessons. I was like, I did not know that it was just private lessons. She never really took it in a studio or anything. So that was definitely a brand new experience for her. I'm like, well, of course you didn't want to keep doing it. You were just taking private lessons. I mean, part of the dance class experience is meeting friends, taking class with people. So I was glad she got to experience that with me, and she met some of my friends. And there were these other girls there that I didn't even know who were just being nice to my mom and saying hi and stuff. So it was really nice. It was a good experience. That was my one dance experience with my mom. And then we also, she went to my class at Millennium and watched me in my contemporary class. And that was really exciting because I always send her the videos from that class, but she's never, you know, actually been to the studio. And I didn't know how much she was going to enjoy that experience, just like sitting and watching through a window. I thought she might enjoy it a little bit. And I did ask her, like, I was like, we don't have to do this, but she wanted to do it. I wanted to do it. And I was actually surprised how excited she was about just the studio. Like walking into the studio, she was like, wow. Because it kind of looks cool when you go in. There's like all these lights hanging from the ceiling and everybody's headshots, all the teachers' headshots and dance photos are like framed and all over the walls and stuff. So my mom was like looking at everything. She's like, wow, this is such an experience. And then she was like taking pictures of everything. I was kind of surprised how much she was like excited about it. She was like, where's your teacher at? And then she like took a picture of his picture. It was kind of funny. Anyways, we got there early. So at first it wasn't too crowded. I was like, yeah, you never know how crowded it's going to be. Summer can get really crowded, but sometimes it's not. And there's like more space. And there are these stools you can sit at by the window where you can watch in the big studio, which is where my contemporary class always is. But there are people sitting there right then that I was like, I'm sure they're going to move. Most of them are probably dancers and they're going to head into class. And then I'm sure you'll get like a stool or somewhere to sit. My mom actually ended up telling me that it was really hard to get a stool to sit on because there was like other parents, and there was a parent that saved 3 stools. Like she put her stuff and put water bottles on different like stools or like on the counter by each stool, and like told my mom they were all saved. I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, I didn't realize there were like legitimate audiences like saving seats at these classes. I thought like maybe there's one parent or 2 parents of like a teenager that comes or a young kid that comes, because we do have little kids in the class sometimes. I mean, usually parents of my age are not coming to watch, although I have friends that also have had their parents come if they're like from out of town. I mean, it's just kind of fun. So anyway, she was able to get a stool, but it seemed like she had to sort of work for it and be like, and ask someone like, oh, are you heading out soon? Can I have this stool? So she got a good spot. So that was good. But before I even went into the class, the studio got crazy. It was so packed. I actually think it was the most packed that class has ever been for me. I think there was one other time that it was almost as packed as that and it felt crazy, but this time it was really, really packed. And it was supposed to be a round 2 day, and I missed round 1 because I was picking up my mom from the airport. So I was nervous about that, but I had watched the video a little bit that my friend sent me, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try to work on these moves a little so I'm at least a little prepared for class. And I stood in the front so I'd be able to see, even though the class was so packed. And then the teacher got up there and was like, so I was going to do round 2, but actually this morning I heard a song and I was just like, I have to choreograph to this. That is so funny to me. I love that so much because that's kind of how I am too. I mean, I don't choreograph often, but it does seem like the only times I can choreograph, I mean, this teacher can choreograph to like anything, I'm sure, but the only times I can choreograph is when I hear a certain song and I'm like, I have to choreograph to this. Otherwise, I sort of can't choreograph. So even though I'm on a completely different level, lower than this teacher, I feel like I could relate to like hearing a song and being like, I have to choreograph to this. So he did a new song, which I was glad about. I was like, okay, great. We're all learning this for the first time. Because when we're all learning for the first time, I feel like he goes a tiny bit slower than when most of the classes already learned it. So I was happy about that. But wow, it was crazy trying to do that with all those people. But I was proud of myself that I learned it. I made it happen. I had so much fun with my friends in the class, and it was fun just like knowing my mom was watching, even though I never really looked at her. I kind of wanted to turn around and like smile at her one point, and then I chickened out and didn't do it because I just was like, I need to stay focused. Anyways, so I didn't really do dance when I was little, but I did for a little tiny bit. Like when I was maybe 5 or something, 5 or 6, I did take this little tumbling class and this little dance or ballet class or something that was maybe just for like a month in the summer. It was just something short, but I did it one time and I have this recital and we have the video somewhere on VHS, and I definitely look awkward dancing the whole time, which sometimes I feel like I still am like that. I was like doing these plies and jumping with my arms going out and in, and I just look so clunky and awkward, but like I'm 5, whatever. It was cute. I was wearing this pink like tutu situation, but in the beginning of the video I'm on this stage with all the other girls and I just like wave at my mom and probably my mom and my dad, and I'm smiling. And I thought of that when I was in my class. Like I wanted to turn around and like wave at my mom. I'm like, I'm still the same person I was when I was 5. I'm like, my mom's here. I want to wave at her. But then I didn't because I was trying to be a mature adult. But anyways, so she came to that class. She said that was such an experience. She was like, wow, that was crazy, all the people. And then my teenager dance friend's mom also came because she's there a lot. And so she was chatting with my mom, I guess. They were both watching. And so it was a good time. We got some pictures. I had fun. I introduced her to some of my friends. So I really liked having those dance experiences with my mom. What else did we do? We went to the beach, which I'm glad we did because my mom's been trying to stay out of the sun lately, because it's not good for your skin and everything. So I wasn't sure if she was going to go to the beach, even though she normally likes to go to the beach, but she found these certain t-shirts that are like, I don't know, they protect from the sun or something. So she was like, I have the right clothes I can wear so we can go to the beach. And I was like, okay, good. Even though recently I felt like I don't really like the beach as much as I used to. I used to really love the beach. Like when I first moved to California, I was at the beach like every day. I was like, how could people not be at the beach every day if you live here? Like, this is crazy. I love it so much. And then as I was out here more and more years, I just got busy, didn't have as much time for the beach, but I still really liked going to the beach when I got over there every once in a while. But then one of the last times I went to the beach, I felt like, oh, it's so sandy. I always get sand in my purse. There's just sand everywhere. I come home and sand is everywhere. And like, usually there's not like a bathroom or there's not a clean bathroom at the beach and you have to lug everything over. And I started thinking like the beach was kind of a hassle and it wasn't as fun as it used to be. But when I went with my mom this time, I had so much fun. I was like, why am I not coming to the beach every day? This is amazing. Like, it wasn't even that warm. So at first I was like, oh, I'm going to be cold. I'm probably not going to go in the water. But once I like got up and was kind of putting my feet in the water, I was like, actually, it doesn't even feel that bad. I feel like I could almost like just go all the way in. But we sort of had other plans for the day and I was parked in sort of a spot where we couldn't stay parked for too long because we were like, we're just going to stay for a little bit and then we're going to do some shopping. So I was like, I should probably not go all the way in and be super wet as we're like shopping and stuff. But I was just like running along the beach. I was like, ooh, I want to run. I can't tell you the last time I wanted to run. I do not run. In college, I ran a little bit because that was before I was doing dance. And I had a friend in like my journalism class that was really into running and did all these, I don't know, marathons or half marathons or quarter marathons, I don't know, in Chicago. And she was doing, what was it? It was like a 10K. I think it was called the Shamrock Shuffle in Chicago. And she was going to run and practice to do that. And she was like, you should do it with me. And I had never done any kind of running thing before, but I was like, okay, that kind of sounds fun. I have no idea why I thought that would be fun or why I wanted to do it. I think I was just enjoying being this girl's friend. And so I started running like every day on this track at my college, and I just tried to like continuously increase my running capacity, basically like how much longer can I run for? Like I'll start with this amount, then I'll do this amount. I don't remember Googling anything about what I should actually do and how I should actually train to run for something like that. I just thought, well, I'll start running and then I'll keep running and then I'll run more. So that was my plan. So I did that. And I don't remember how long I trained for it, but we ended up doing the Shamrock Shuffle together in Chicago. And it was such a fun day because I think she was from Chicago and her family lived there. Her parents were there. And so I went to her parents' house or their apartment or something. And then we did this race. It was really fun. We got all this free stuff at the end. It was like a party. I really liked it. And then her parents like took us to a dance show, which is so interesting because I wasn't really into dance back then, but there was a dance show with like Hubbard Street or something in Chicago. And that was probably one of my first experiences seeing like a dance show with all different kinds of like contemporary and modern dance and that kind of thing. And I remember really, really liking it. I was like, oh, this is so cool. I thought it was so cool that her parents like paid for us and took us to that. It definitely influenced me. It's not like I started taking dance right after that or anything. Or maybe I sort of did. Actually, now I'm remembering I was taking a dance class in college. I was taking a hip hop class once a week in Chicago. Oh my gosh, my voice. 1 second. Let me just get some water. My car says that my door is open. I'm like, should I reshut this? Oh my gosh, my trunk is open. Wait, that's crazy. Okay, hold on. Wow, my trunk was open the whole time for like 20 minutes. That was crazy. It was because I ran back there to get this like little shade for my window because there's so much sun coming into my car. And I just forgot to close my trunk. And there was a notification that said I had a door open or that something was open. And I was like, did I not shut this door all the way? And then I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's my trunk. That's crazy. Anyways, trunk is closed. We're safe now. Doors are locked. Okay, we're good. But yeah, I was taking a dance class once a week in Chicago, a hip hop class. I was driving like over an hour to get to that class and come back like my senior year. So, and I feel like it was my junior year maybe that I was doing the running. Anyways, point is, we did the Shamrock Shuffle, but after that, I still kept running because then I was just really into it. I also felt like it was keeping me really in shape, and I liked being able to eat whatever I wanted and still keep the weight that I wanted to be. So I was just running all the time and eating whatever I wanted, and I was enjoying that life, and I was pretty addicted to running at this point. And then one day I woke up and I couldn't walk. I was like limping and I was like, what on earth? I mean, I could walk, but I was limping and it hurt. And I was like, what is going on? And it wasn't going away. I just like couldn't walk. I had this pain. I couldn't walk normally, and it wasn't going away for days. And then one of my friends was like, maybe you should go see a chiropractor. She had this chiropractor she liked, and I don't think I'd ever been to a chiropractor. And I was like, okay. So I think I might have figured it out with my insurance or something. And I went to the chiropractor, and they did these x-rays. And I remember they were like, did you ever like fall on your head or something like that? They asked me a very specific question because of something that was going on with my spine. And I was like, actually, I did when I was in cheerleading in junior high. This girl, I might have told this story on the podcast before, but this girl was like, she like had me on her shoulders. Like I had one foot standing on one of her shoulders, and the other foot was in like an upside down L situation, and she was like holding it with her arm. So I was doing that on top of her for our cheerleading pose, and she was supposed to dismount me. She was supposed to like kind of sit backwards so I could dismount like in back of her, but she accidentally leaned forward, and I fell forward and landed all the way from up there straight on my head, and it hurt so bad. And my head was hurting the whole next day, and I don't even remember if I went to the doctor or like what happened, but the pain eventually went away. But I actually think that I messed up my spine from that. And so, yeah, the chiropractor was like, it looks like you had a fall, but then your spine started kind of healing itself on its own, but then it sort of healed it a weird way. And so now with all the running you've been doing, it's been putting all this pressure, and then it kind of came back like the injury or whatever. And so I was limping. So basically I was seeing our chiropractor all the time to try to fix it because it wasn't going away. I was still limping. And it was the summer before my senior year of college, because it was the summer I was going to work at camp. I had a marketing internship at a camp, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do going to camp? I can barely walk. I'm going to have to walk around this whole camp, and I'm not going to be able to see a chiropractor 2 times a week or however much I was seeing him when I'm at camp. And so he was like, well, we'll just do as much as we can before you leave. And then there was supposed to be maybe this middle period of the summer where I was going to maybe come back. I don't think I ever did that. I don't know. Anyways, we didn't know how it was going to work or if I was going to last at camp. My first week of camp during the training, I couldn't walk normally. I was still limping, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But I kept praying that God would heal me. And I remember I had people pray for me. It was a Christian camp, so I had people pray for me as well. And then I don't know what happened, but within like the second or third week that I was there, I was just totally healed. And it actually got so healed that I started running a little bit at camp with my friend. We weren't doing crazy running. It wasn't like as much as I was doing at school, but we were running like a little bit, like laps around the camp together because she liked to run too. It was this girl that I met, and we became friends. So I was really happy that God healed me of that. But when I went back to school my senior year, I think I tried to run again or something, but I don't really remember what happened. All I know is the doctor I was seeing, or the chiropractor I was seeing, I was like, when do you think I'll be able to run again? Or do you think I can run again at some point? He was like, you really probably shouldn't ever run again. And I was like, what? I was like crying because I was so obsessed with running at the time. And I met these girls in college, my junior or senior year, that were really into going to this aerobic kickboxing class. It was an aerobic kickboxing class, but they also had like legitimate, what do you call it? Like boxing bags? I don't know what it's called. Like literally the kinds that stand on the floor that are tall, that are like taller than you. They had those kind of punching bags. What are those called? I have no idea. Anyways, you had to literally get boxing gloves for this class. So it was an aerobic kickboxing class. Like they did play music, but also we legitimately were learning from, he was like a karate instructor or something who also did boxing, and he taught us like legitimate moves, but it was in an aerobic way to music. That was one of the hardest classes I ever took. Like I went with them one time, these girls I met at school, and I was like, oh my gosh, like just like I felt like I needed to go grab my water every 5 minutes. I was like, this is so intense. It was so cardio. It was so hard. But I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I'm sort of drawn to stuff like that. So even though it was crazy and I felt like I almost died the first time I went, I was kind of like, I want to keep coming back to this. And so since I was kind of encouraged not to run, I decided to just keep going to this kickboxing class. And I remember telling the instructor that I used to run, but now I feel like I'm not really supposed to run because I had this injury. And he was like, oh, running is terrible. Running is really bad for your joints anyways. No one should ever run or something like that. Like, why would anyone ever do that? And so I was like, okay. So anyway, I just kept kickboxing. Why was I talking about this? I have literally no idea now. Why was I talking about running? Oh, the beach. Oh, was I talking about running at the beach? Oh, yeah. I hadn't run. Wow, that was such a long tangent. I hadn't run since like college, really. And I have no desire to run either anymore. Like, the thought of running, I'm like, sounds boring. Also because now I'm into dance, so I'm just like, that's my physical activity. And I also didn't know when I was training to run that you're supposed to do like cross-training exercises. You're supposed to not just like run every day. So I'm sure that wasn't helping either. I'm sure if I really wanted to run, I could do it in a healthy way and do cross-training activities or do it along with dance or whatever. And I'm sure that my body would adjust and I could probably do something like that. But I just really have no desire to. But when I was at the beach, I started to run along the sand, on the sand, along the water. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't remember ever liking running on the beach as much as I'm liking it right now. And I said to my mom, because she's just like waiting on the towel, and I feel like we were supposed to leave in a few minutes. And I was like, I kind of just want to like run along the beach. And my mom was like, do it then, just do it. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I just ran and I kept running and running and running. I really felt like I could have ran for like an hour. I had so much energy, but I was like, okay, I should probably turn around and come back to my mom. Like, we're on vacation together and I probably shouldn't run an hour away from her in a different direction. But anyways, the beach was so fun. I really wanted to go all the way in the water. I really wanted to run on the sand for like an hour. And I was like, why am I not coming to the beach more often? Like, this is so fun. So I was really glad to have that experience. I was sad that we were leaving the beach, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to make a big deal out of how I want to stay longer because I know that I can come back anytime. I can do this anytime. I don't know why I'm not doing it anytime. So the beach was a really good experience. I also brought my mom to the farm that I live on. I don't really live on a farm, but the people I live with right now, they have a really big yard and a huge chicken coop, as much as most of you know. And there's like 40 chickens and they have 3 really big dogs and they have a koi pond. So I took my mom to that farm first and she got to take an egg out from underneath a chicken. That's what she really wanted to do. She's like, do you think that I'll be able to grab an egg out from under a chicken? I was like, yeah, probably. Text my roommate, like, because if they've already grabbed the eggs, sometimes there aren't any. But she was like, oh, yeah, we haven't gotten them today yet. She can do it. So that was really funny. If you guys were watching my Instagram stories, she's very funny when she's talking. I mean, we both like to talk a lot. So anyways, that was a very funny experience. Then I took her to the actual farm that my friend who I live with volunteers at. And so we saw horses and pigs and even bigger dogs that are at the farm, and my mom loves horses, so it was a nice experience there as well. And it's funny because, well, okay, I don't want to tell all this out of order. So yeah, we went to the farm and then we also went out to eat a lot, which was nice because I don't go out to eat that much. We went to Cafe Gratitude, which is one of my favorite places. It is vegan and I'm not vegan, but I generally don't eat dairy because I'm lactose intolerant, so I do like vegan places because they make stuff without dairy, but I also like meat. So I wouldn't want to like always go to vegan places, but Cafe Gratitude is the one vegan place that I actually just love. I was going to say I love everything there. That's not true. I literally get the Hawaiian pizza every single time because I love it so much. I've also had their nacho situation, which is good. And then I love their I Am Cozy drink, which is literally just lemon, honey, cayenne, and ginger. But it's so good. It's my favorite drink there. I got it there once, and I get it almost every single time I go. All of their food always looks good, but that is literally what I have like every single time. So we went there. I got that. They made the I Am Cozy drink the best they've ever made it. It was so spicy, and I really like when it's super spicy, and it was so good. My mom tried a little, and she was like, ugh, this is so spicy. I'm like, no, it's so good. I love it. Anyways, she got this wrap situation. She really, really liked it. She just ate one of them. There were 2. So she was going to take the other one home, but there was a lot of different things in it, and my mom's kind of like me where we're both really sensitive to different types of food. So she was kind of like, I might eat this other wrap later or I might not because maybe it's going to bother my stomach, but like I feel fine now, but maybe I shouldn't eat both of them. So she was going back and forth about this wrap. She was like, well, will you eat the wrap later? And I was like, I don't know, because it's made with a whole wheat tortilla and my stomach is really sensitive to whole wheat. It's better for me to eat like white flour tortillas and white rice and that kind of thing. So I was like, I don't know. So we had kept going back and forth about like what we were even going to do with this other wrap that she had. And then as we're leaving the restaurant, and I have a little bit of my pizza left as well. Now, I love this pizza, right? I know that I'm going to eat this last piece later because I love it. So I'm holding my box with the pizza. She's holding her box with the wrap. And then I even had her do a video about how much she liked the wrap or something like before we left. I kept having her reenact things because, you know, I have to post on my Instagram stories. I'm like, can you say that again? Do that again the same way you just did it. And I would video her. And so then we're heading out and I'm about to take a video of this tree that she kept talking about, that she was like, this tree is so pretty. What kind of tree is this? She was like talking about it on the way in. So we were passing it on the way out and I was going to video the tree again and be like, say bye to the tree. So I had pressed record on my camera. And right when I did that, this guy was riding on his bike and he was like, I thought he was going to ask us for money. So he kind of stopped us to ask us something. And then he ended up asking us if we had any food. He was like, do you guys have any food you don't need? Like, he was like, anything is fine. I don't care what it is. And it's interesting because a day or two before that, another guy approached us when we were in Hollywood trying to get money, or he asked if we spoke English, but I felt like he was just going to ask us for money. So in Hollywood, when you're at like Hollywood and Highland where everything is, all the tourists and stuff, like people are constantly asking you for money and that kind of thing. So I'm just trying to keep my mom safe and just stay focused on what we're doing. So when that guy approached us in Hollywood, I was like, just keep walking, Mom. Just keep walking. Like, don't look at them. Just keep walking. So that's what I had said, even though that's not even what I always do. Like, I do often pay attention to people when they ask for things, and sometimes I give them something and sometimes I don't. But I guess because Hollywood just feels crazy with everybody doing that, I was just trying to be like, Mom, just keep walking. Like, you know? But then after that happened, my mom kept saying she felt bad. She was like, I sort of feel bad that he just asked us if we spoke English. We could have just said like yes, or we could have responded. I was like, I guess so, yeah. And so I kind of felt bad. So when this guy approached us, I thought, oh, I'll give my mom an opportunity because she felt so bad she didn't respond to the guy the other day. So I was just like, oh, Mom, do you want to give the guy your wrap? And I sort of accidentally recorded that because not like it wasn't on video because I was just holding my phone like down towards the ground because I wasn't trying to record it. It was just that I had accidentally already pressed record because I was going to record the tree. So I just kind of recorded the audio by accident. But I was just like, Mom, did you want to give him your wrap? And she's like, oh, okay, yeah, you can have this. But then as we were walking, he was like, thank you, you know. But then as we were walking away, I started laughing because I'm like, that was so funny. It sounds so funny if you like didn't know the context of the situation because I'm like holding my pizza. I also have leftover pizza. She has her leftover wrap that she just talked about on video, how much she loved her wrap. And then I'm all, Mom, did you want to give him your wrap? Like, because he's not taking my pizza. I'm like, literally, we got in the car. I was like, yeah, he is not taking this pizza because I love this pizza and I'm going to have some of this later. It just looked like I was so selfish, like offering my mom's food to him. But the reason was because we were going back and forth about who was even going to eat the wrap because she didn't really want to have it because she thought it was going to bother her stomach. And I didn't really want to have it because the whole wheat tortilla bothers my stomach. So we had been going back and forth about it. So I just thought it made sense to give him the wrap. But it was just really funny if you didn't know the conversation before that I was just like, oh, let me be nice and offer my mom's food, but like not give my food. But we were just laughing about it in the car. I was like, no, I was not going to give him this pizza. This is my freaking favorite pizza ever. So anyway, that was our eating out experience. And I did have my mom watch my dance performances with LA Unbound because they put them up on YouTube much faster than normal, so that was cool. She wasn't able to come out here to see the show. Originally, I was trying to get her to come out here to be able to see the show because I was house sitting, so I was like, you could stay with me at my house sitting house and come see my show. But she had these like different things that she couldn't like switch her schedule around, so which is fine. So she was able to come right after the show, and I was like, we probably won't even be able to watch them online because they probably won't have the videos up yet. But then they had them up faster than normal, so we watched them on the big screen at my house sitting house. So that was fun. I was like standing up by the TV and like pointing out, there I am, you know. So we did get to watch that, and then she had never seen K-pop Demon Hunters, so I really wanted her to watch that. She doesn't always like animated movies, so I was like, I know you're not like the biggest fan of animated movies, but we already did just see Toy Story 5 as well, and she liked that. And I'm like, I just think you'll like K-pop Demon Hunters because there's so many cool like messages, and it's such an interesting plot, and I really like it. I've seen it like 3 times now. So I watched it again with her. Every time I watch it, new things stand out to me, and I like that movie so much every time. And fortunately, she did really like it. She was like, this is interesting. That was cute. She said it was cute. She said it was very interesting. She liked the messages in it. And yeah, so she stayed awake the whole time. That's the main thing that lets me know she liked it, because sometimes she'll fall asleep. I mean, any of us will do that in a movie if we're tired. And we were doing a lot of things, so we were kind of tired. But she stayed up the whole time, and she seemed to like it. So that was fun. But then the last thing I want to talk about, which is going to transition me into my next topic, is that we did go to see Toy Story 5. So this is the other dance thing we did, I guess, because my friend was actually dancing as Buzz Lightyear I told you guys I was going to go see this probably in Hollywood. It was a special theater where Disney plays movies, but there's also a stage. And so they had the main characters dancing on stage before they showed the movie. And it was just like a really fun experience. He did a great job. I cannot imagine dancing in that Buzz Lightyear costume. Like, it is so crazy. The other 2 costumes, the Woody costume and the Jessie costume, they're probably a little bit easier to dance in, although I think they had heads on as well. But the Buzz Lightyear costume, I mean, that looks kind of stiff and robotic, but he did like such a great job dancing in that. And he's a very good, very trained dancer, and it's kind of funny to watch someone do kind of like more simple dance moves on stage. But they always say like a lot of these dance gigs that you get are going to be like actually much easier than what you were trained in. So that's kind of funny. But then to have to wear that costume, like, I know how hard it was for me to dance when I had to wear a dinosaur head in my first LA Unbound show. Like, I had no idea how crazy that was going to be when you can't even see very well and there's things on your head and it's hard to breathe, and like, so I can't imagine wearing as huge of a costume as he was wearing. But he did a great job. It was really fun to watch him. And then they played the movie, which I was excited to see because, as you know, I've been catching up on all the Toy Stories, and they've all had really good messages. And I've generally feel like God is speaking to me through those movies. And so I was like, I wonder if the same thing's going to happen with Toy Story 5, or if I'm going to be like, I don't really like this one, or something like that. Well, I loved Toy Story 5. And sometimes when I do things in my life, I feel like I'm just randomly deciding everything. Like, I decided we were going to see Toy Story 5 that day, and I decided we were going to go to the farm the day before that. Like, I feel like I'm just planning things randomly. Like, I'm like, well, this kind of makes sense to do this day. This kind of makes sense to do that day. But then as I'm reflecting and experiencing it as we're doing it, I'm like, I feel like God coordinated all of this. Even though I picked it, and I picked it all like supposedly randomly, I feel like it's all coordinated by God, because we're watching this movie and there was chickens and pigs and horses in the movie, like real horses. Like, they were supposed to be real. I mean, it's an animated movie, but like they were real horses, which it's usually just like toys in the movie. And I was like, it's so crazy that we just went to the farm yesterday, and now we're seeing this movie with like horses and chickens. And even somebody commented on one of my Instagram stories and was like, saw that I was going to see Toy Story 5 and also saw that I was just at a farm. And he was like, oh, there's like chickens and horses in that movie, not to spoil it or anything. And I was like, I know, I actually just saw it. So I thought that was kind of crazy. And then there's a whole situation with the girl, with Bonnie. So it's still about Bonnie in Toy Story 5, the little girl. And it's about her and her dance friends. And I was like, her dance friends? What? That's crazy. So like, that made me feel like God was speaking to me. It just feels like God coordinates my life. Like, why am I even seeing this Toy Story 5 movie? I probably wouldn't have even seen that movie or rewatched any of those Toy Stories, except that I saw this friend at the church I've been going to, and he happened to be talking about what he was rehearsing for lately for dance. And I was like, oh, what is it? And he was like, oh, it's this like Toy Story 5 performance. And I was like, Toy Story 5? I didn't even know there was a Toy Story 5 coming out at that point. And so I don't usually see new movies right when they come out or anything like that, and I probably would have never even saw it. But because I saw him at church and we had this conversation, and then I ended up watching all the Toy Stories, and then I see Toy Story 5, and it's like, has all these farm animals, and then it's talking about the girls' dance friends, and I'm like, wow, I feel like God is just like speaking to me through this movie, and like, why am I even seeing this movie? It's just like when I look back on my life, I know this is a very small example that doesn't really matter. Obviously, I have bigger examples that matter more, but even just these little things, I'm like, I just feel like God's in charge of even the little things, because that movie spoke to me so much and encouraged me, maybe even more than any of the other movies before that. I feel like the movie, I don't think I'm going to spoil anything, but if you haven't seen it yet and you feel like I'm going to spoil something, feel free to fast forward this. I'm not planning on spoiling anything, but just to give you like the premise, well, you probably already know like the main premise with the toys if you've seen any trailers or anything, but it's basically like kids aren't playing with toys anymore because they're just playing with devices. They're playing with their iPads. It's called lily pads in the movie, because the main like iPad in the movie is a lily pad and her name's Lily. And how all the kids are just staring at screens and they're not playing with their toys and everything. But the other plot line, or the main, like, you know, heartfelt plot line, is that the little girl is having a hard time making friends. And it turns out the reason why she's having a hard time making friends is because she still plays with toys, but everybody else just plays with their screens, and it just sits on the couch on their screen. So these other kids don't think she's cool because she still plays with toys. And the whole movie, she's just like trying to get these friends, and she does finally get a lily pad because her parents get it for her, and she's in these group chats with these dance friends. I was like, oh my gosh, it was called like Dance Friends or Dance Chat or something like that. And these girls are like making fun of her and laughing at her when they find out she plays with toys, and she's so sad. These moments where she's like crying in the movie, oh my gosh, I completely am starting to cry in the theater and trying to like not be obvious about it. I'm like, that really got me, because even though it's just about playing with toys, and like, it's not like I can relate to that part of it, obviously, but like just relating to the fact that like maybe you feel different and then you're not included, or people are, you know, laughing at you or making fun of you. And I think as an adult, people don't do that as much, like to your face. Like they were doing that like to her directly in the group chat. I think that doesn't happen as much these days, but things happen like behind people's backs, or you can feel like you're not part of a group anymore because you're different or things like that. And it just was like heartbreaking, that feeling, even though God's always been by my side in any kind of situation like that, still you can like relate to the emotion of that and just how painful that can be and how sad that can feel. But I want to talk about like what happens in the movie, but I feel like the other movies, I feel like it wasn't a spoiler because everybody's seen them. But now I feel bad because maybe some of you guys are going to see Toy Story 5 and I don't want to like give it away or anything. But it was just like such a good message, and I really felt, I'm going to say what the message was. So this is not going to be an exact spoiler, but again, feel free to fast forward if you don't even want to hear the message of the movie. But I feel like it was a message about staying true to yourself, like staying true to who you really are, even if it's not like considered normal or what everybody else is doing. And eventually, like, you may become sort of a leader where people will want to do what you're doing, or you'll meet other friends. Maybe it takes longer, but you meet other friends who are more like you, or the friends that aren't like you may eventually appreciate what you do and like enjoy that as well. Or maybe you just won't be around those friends as much anymore. But I feel like all these Toy Story movies, it's always about like enemies to friends lately. Like I think in Toy Story 4, I think we talked about that. Like, it never has the enemy stay the enemy. Is it even every movie that's like that? I would have to think through. But the bad guy always kind of becomes someone that they at least sort of care about to a degree, whether they become actual friends with that character or person by the end, or something at least moderately good happens for them and they're kind of happy for them for that. It's just like, I just love that concept so much. The like enemies to friends, like, I don't know. I love it. So anyway, that movie really touched me. I would totally watch it again. I wish we got to like see her in dance class. I just thought of that right now. It was always like about her dance friends, but you never actually like see her practicing dance or like in dance class. So that'd have been one way they could have made it better. It was like, let's see this. Where do these dance friends come from? Like, I've never seen her do dance. I've only seen her play with her toys. So it'd be cool if she had like a ballet dancer toy or something like that. Maybe for Toy Story 6, that would be cool to like maybe see how she progresses in dance. But anyways, my mom also liked it. So that was another fun thing that we did. And I think that's kind of all I wanted to say about Toy Story. And about my mom. I think that's kind of a good update. Yeah, we had a really nice time. She's always sad when she leaves, but I mean, and I'm sad too. It's like so nice, to have her every day, but hopefully I'll get a chance to go to Chicago soon. I have like a Southwest credit because the last time I flew there, which was last November, I think, they lost my luggage, or my luggage didn't come on my flight, and I had to wait at the airport for a couple hours, like 2 or 3 hours to get my luggage, which at least they had it. It wasn't like they completely lost it, but because I had to wait, they gave me a couple $100 or something. Or maybe it was just $100 or $150. I have to check. But basically, they gave me a credit. I have to apply it before this November. So hopefully I'll be going back there and I'll see her again soon. But everyone seemed to enjoy my Instagram stories and my adventures with my mom. So thanks for watching. When I dropped off at the airport, I was like, you got to say goodbye to all your fans. Because like my mom's like not on social media, but she'll sometimes watch my stories. Like I'll show them to her and she kind of thinks it's funny. So anyway, that's that. But I wanted to give you a little bit of a money update. And that's kind of all I have to say mostly. But yeah, I talked about my oil change on the last episode, and I was saying how, God's freeing me from being worried about money. And even though they found that I also had to change my drive belt and it ended up costing like $280 or something, normally I'd be like, oh, I can't believe this. And I wish that I didn't have to pay this. And how am I going to get more money? And I don't really have regular income right now. And normally I'd be like very stressed, but God has been taking away my money stress and just like, okay, this is something I need to do for my car. And so God's going to provide. Like I just keep trusting that God's going to provide for everything I need. So my attitude is becoming much more like relaxed about stuff. So when I was at the car place, when they were telling me the price and telling me what needed to be done, I was much less stressed out about it. I was like, okay. I mean, I was Googling things when they were telling me what needed to be done so I could make sure, like, does this really need to be done and that kind of thing. But when I realized it did, I was like, okay, well, I'm glad they found that. I'm glad they're being thorough. Let's get it done. God's going to provide. I felt really confident about it. And then it was like a day or two later, I'm getting in my car to go somewhere and there's a big bird poop on my windshield. This happens all the time, especially like right after I get a car wash. I feel like that always happens. And I didn't get a car wash because, as you guys know, I still have not gotten a car wash. Well, if you didn't know, I still have not gotten a car wash since my big car wash fiasco. And I still have this receipt in my glove compartment and I need to go remember to get a car wash when I move back to my place, like tomorrow or at some point in the next couple of days. But anyways, big bird poop on my windshield. And so I start like vigorously doing my windshield spray and doing my wipers. And as I'm doing that, I did a bunch of times and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to just take a Kleenex and like wipe this off my windshield because it was so gross and it was like right in my eye line. And when I went to do that, I noticed this really big crack in my windshield. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just paid $180 to fix a small crack in my windshield. This is a separate thing from my oil change and my smog check and my drive belt. Like this was a separate thing. The crack in my windshield that came from some rock or something that flew out of a truck. I remember it happening because I was like, what just hit my car? And then a couple days later, I was like, I noticed this crack and I was like, oh, I think I need to fix this crack because it might get bigger. So I had called Safelite, and at the time I was trying to research maybe cheaper places, but I really needed to be able to like go a bunch of places the next day in my car. And I had read that if you drive with a crack on your windshield, it can get bigger, like different things can happen, something else can hit it, like temperature change, blah, blah, blah. It's better to fix it right away. So I was like, Safelite was a little bit more expensive, but they were the quickest to respond, the quickest to schedule. So I was just like, I'm just going to do it. It's fine. Like I have the money. Like, yes, it's like almost all of my money right now, but God always provides what I need and he provided this money and I can do it. So they came to the house. They fixed it for $180. The guy was really nice. He was explaining it to me as he was doing it. totally fixed the crack. I can barely see it. Cut to like a few weeks later to the story that I'm telling right now, and that crack grew into this really large crack. And I'm like, ugh, what the heck? This sucks. So then, and I'm so busy because I'm preparing for my mom to come in a few days. And so I'm trying to get all of my work done. I know it seems like I don't do work, but I run 2 podcasts. I do a lot of stuff actually. And so I was trying to finish everything before she came in. And then this crack happens and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm house sitting. So I'm not even at my normal house. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I call up Safelight trying to be like, okay, you guys so-called fixed this crack, but then it grew into a larger crack. So can you like fix it again and not charge me or something like that? And they kind of have this long speech about how you can't really guarantee a crack isn't going to grow, blah, blah, blah. And if the crack has grown, they can't just fix the crack. It's going to have to be a whole windshield replacement. And it was going to cost me with taxes and fees and getting new windshield wipers because apparently it's also bad to use your old windshield wipers on the crack. I don't know. It was going to cost like $700. And I was like, I cannot believe this. And at this point, I don't actually have this money. Like, yes, I could put it on credit and maybe God is going to provide for it later, but what a bummer. Because I was also trying to have money when my mom was here. Like, I knew she'd probably pay for most things, but I feel like she might stress about my lack of money, and I just want her to know, like, God's providing for me. I'm fine, da-da-da. And now here she's coming in a couple days, and I'm going to be, like, in debt, like, at least $500 or $600 or something. So I was really bummed about that. I was in a bad mood. So my whole thing of, like, oh, not worrying about money, trusting God, and I'm so, like, in a good mood even when stuff costs money, that went away pretty quickly at that point. I was like, okay, I'm actually pretty mad about this. I was trying to give it to God. I was trying to be like, okay, I trust you, God, but I was not feeling that in my heart. I was feeling very frustrated. And over that weekend, I was seeing various dance shows. Like, I had already got a ticket to see one of my friend's dance pieces that she choreographed, and I'd already paid for that. And the next day, another friend of mine had, like, helped get me a ticket for a show. That was a really nice show, and all these tickets were already bought and everything. And so I had to do stuff to prepare for my mom coming. Plus, I had to go to these dance shows. I mean, I wanted to go to these dance shows, but I was like, when am I going to get this crack fixed? And like, I also was trying to get everything done with my car before my mom came because I wanted her to feel safe driving in my car and everything, which is why I got the drive belt changed. Like, they actually had told me I could potentially wait to get the drive belt changed until my next oil change. But I was like, you know what? My mom's coming. I just want my car to be perfect. It's fine. I'm going to have to spend the money either way at some point. I'll just spend it now. So now there's this crack. And I'm like, well, now my car is still not perfect. This is so frustrating. And so anyway, I just like scheduled the appointment with Safelight. I was like, whatever, because I have to get to this dance show. Like, I don't have time to think about any other way I can do this. I'm just going to do it this way. So, of course, I'm posting on social media because I really don't post everything. I know it seems like I do, but there's a lot of things I don't post on social media. But I do post a lot. So I was posting my drama about the crack on my windshield. And so I had a few people respond being like, $700, like, I think you can get it for cheaper. And then my roommate especially was responding a lot. She's very good at like saving money and budgeting money really well. And she cares about not overpaying for things. And yeah, she just like started researching it for me and like trying to find a cheaper place for me. And it was crazy that she just started doing this for me because I was about to go to my friend's dance show. So I didn't have time to do that. And I was going to get back really late. And she told me she was like researching some other places for me. I just wanted to be like, thanks, but no thanks. Like, I was in a bad mood. So even though it was so nice what she was doing, I was kind of just like, you know, don't waste your time. It's fine. It's already scheduled with Safelight. I don't have time to like call another place, like whatever. I have to get this done. My mom's coming, da-da-da. Like, we have a busy schedule. I've already planned things for us to do. We don't have time to be sitting around for some place to fix my windshield. Like, whatever. Like, I kind of wanted to say that, but I feel like God like stopped me and I was just like, okay, thanks. Like, let me know or whatever. And so I go to my show and I come back and she had sent me like all these quotes she got for my windshield. Like, she really put in time and did all this research for me. And then she was like, can you send me your VIN number or your VIN number? Do you say VIN or VIN? I have no idea. Anyway, she's like, can you send me your VIN number or your license plate? Because some of them like ask for that. I'm trying to get these quotes for you. And I'm just like, okay. So I literally sent her like a picture of my car registration that had all my info on it. And she continued to do all this research for me. And then she even was like, okay, I think this one might be the best because he seemed the most honest, da 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 da. and like just was being so nice to do all this for me. And I think the typical person could have been like, Tracy can do this for herself. Like, she doesn't even have a job, you know? But my roommate sees how busy I am all the time. And even though she's very busy herself and she's literally going to have a baby and she works full time, she also volunteers at a farm. She also has 3 big dogs and 40 chickens. I don't even know how this girl finds time for things, but for her to like take time out of her busy schedule because she knew how busy I was trying to prepare for my mom coming in and everything, and that I wasn't around to do that work, she just like did it for me. First of all, it's so nice of her, but I also was thanking God too, like, wow, God, it's like you just did that for me. Like, I literally came back from my dance show and it was like done. Like, all this research was done for me. That's crazy. So the next morning, it was a Sunday. So I was like, who am I going to get a hold of on a Sunday? But I only had a little bit of time in the morning and then I was going to be busy the rest of the day. So I was like, well, I'll take this time. I'll try to call 1 or 2 places. So I did that. I found the one my roommate was suggesting, I do think he was good. I did feel good about him. It was still going to be almost the same amount. I would save a little bit of money, but I did sort of feel better about going with him. I feel like Safelite can be really tricky about stuff. Like, even when I first got the crack fixed, I didn't even want to go with them because their website felt deceptive to me. The prices they give these really big prices for like the different options of how to replace your crack. Like, one comes with the new windshield wipers and one comes with whatever guarantee or whatever. But they have these big prices and that's the prices you look at. But then in small print, it's like in 5 easy payments of blah, blah, blah. It's like a way bigger price than it actually says. But if you don't read the small print, you won't see it. And that was crazy. I actually sent them, like, I filled out this little thing to talk about like my experience on their website. And I was like, I really think you guys need to put bigger what the actual price is because that's annoying. So I was so annoyed about that I almost didn't go with them for the crack initially because I'm like, I don't want to support a deceptive company. So, and then when I was talking to the guy that I was going to go with for my car, he used to work for Safelite and he was telling me like, yeah, that's how much they're saying it is. But just like because I used to work for them, what happens is they'll get to your place and then they'll tell you, actually there's this fee, actually there's this thing. And I did already kind of experience with that with them, so I do think that was kind of true. He was telling me, you know, I will give it to you for $550 total with everything, including taxes and fees. It won't change from that. And that was already cheaper than the Safelite price anyways. And it includes like recalibrating of your cameras and stuff, which I guess you have to do if you have a car with cameras. When you replace the windshield, which the guy said I didn't need to do that if I didn't want to, but I felt like, well, that seems like the safe thing to do. I should probably do that. But it would have been even cheaper if I didn't do that. Whereas I think Safelite might make you do that. So I do think it was better to go with this guy. So I canceled Safelite, scheduled it with this guy. He also was like so nice to pick up his phone on a Sunday, which he did say he doesn't normally do because it's his day off. He was really nice. He scheduled it with me really quickly and we actually could plan pretty much an exact time he would come, whereas Safelite, you have to say like, oh, it's between 12 and 5 and you kind of have no idea when they're going to come and that type of thing. I mean, they'll text you when they're on their way, but it has to be like a 3 to 5 hour like span of time versus like with this guy, I felt like I could plan like more of an actual time. So I did feel good about him. But then I had that scheduled, and then the whole next day I'm like looking at the crack as I'm driving around, and I'm also doing a little bit more Googling. I also had a friend that was like, I mean, I think you can just drive with a crack. She's like, I've seen people drive with like a full-on crack across their whole windshield and they just drive like that, and I think they're fine. And my roommate's husband, I guess he's also my roommate, he also had told me when I had the small crack, he's like, I mean, if I had that small crack, I don't think I'd even fix it. I just wait for the whole windshield to break at some point. He said when the windshield breaks, because of the way they make cars now, there's like a protective layer in between, like on either side of the glass. So the glass is not going to like break and like hit you in the face. It would break, but it's not going to like hurt you. So he did tell me that, but I was like, I'm just like an overly responsible person sometimes. And I'm like, well, I can't drive with like an unsafe car. I can't drive with a crack in my windshield. And also my mom's coming, so I want her to feel good about the car I'm driving and that kind of thing. So that's why I initially fixed the crack. But this time I'm like, you know what? It's not even in my eye line or anything. It's actually not that big. Like, it is much bigger than it was before. So it's probably like a foot long. It's kind of this curve shape, but it's not going across my whole windshield or anything. And it's not blocking my view in any way. And I'm like, why am I even going to fix this stupid crack? It's fine. What am I going to do? Replace the whole windshield? And then what if another rock hits my windshield? I keep doing this. I keep spending money on this. This is so crazy. So I kind of started thinking, I think I'm just not going to fix the crack. And then when I picked up my mom from the airport, she saw it. She was like, oh, I thought it was going to be way bigger. That's not even like really that bad. And I was like, I know, I was thinking about just like not fixing it. She's like, yeah, I was kind of thinking maybe you don't need to even fix it. And so that felt like confirmation to me. And I was glad my mom wasn't like stressed out about me driving with a crack in my car, in my windshield. So then I called the very nice guy back, or I texted him. I felt bad. I was like, he was so nice on the phone. He was helping me so much. So I felt bad I was going to cancel on him. But I was like, you're amazing. I would love to use you in future. And I've already recommended you to somebody else. But I think I just need to cancel because I really don't have the money for this right now. And I think I can drive around with my crack longer. So I canceled it. He was really nice about it. He was like, no worries. Let me know, whatever. So because I didn't get that done, I felt like I was rich again, which I'm really not rich. I was still at the end of my money. But my mom gave me a little bit of an early birthday present, which was nice. That was a little bit of money. And my birthday is not till August 1st, but we were kind of celebrating since she was in town. And so the money that I still had in my account and that, like, I do have a few $100s right now. I don't have any regular income right now. I did end up quitting my babysitting job. I think I sort of mentioned that might be happening in the last episode. It was only a 3-hour-a-week babysitting job anyways, but that was the only like sort of regular income I have. Everything else is just from people giving money, like from donations for the podcast and all the odd jobs I get, like pet sitting and stuff like that. But that's all just like random. Like I don't know when it's going to happen. The babysitting was just the only like regular thing. But I had felt for a long time that God was telling me that I didn't need to have that babysitting job and I didn't need to have any regular job right now in this season, in this manna season where he's providing as we go. But I really liked having that a little bit of regular income. And I did feel like God had grace over that situation, and it was a really nice situation for a while. They were kind of like really generous with how much they paid me, and I often just got to take the kids out to eat, and then I got to also eat, and I didn't have to pay for that either. So it was kind of a nice situation for a while, and I'm really appreciative to that family, and I really did like those little kids. But I pushed them around in this wagon, and it's really heavy, and the way that the sidewalks are near their house, I had to really push hard on my right wrist to keep the wagon on the sidewalk. And it was starting to like injure my wrist, which I didn't realize. But I was at dance class and I tried to like push on my right wrist and I was like, oh my gosh, ouch, like something's wrong with my wrist. And then I realized pretty soon after that it was coming from the way I was pushing this wagon because I really push it all over. And I liked doing that because I liked the workout of that. And they have such a cool wagon and we got to keep all their stuff in there. But just the way those sidewalks are in that area, like it's always on the right side. And I kept doing that. And it was giving me some sort of like carpal tunnel or like injury or something in my right wrist. And it was really hurting and it would sort of go away and then come back. And I'm like, this is not good. So I was kind of praying about that. And I felt like God was like, yeah, you don't need to have that job. I already told you don't need to have that job. And I was like, but I really like the job. And now I feel like I know the kids well. And I kind of don't want to just like quit. And you're probably thinking, well, why couldn't you just not push that wagon or like do it differently? Well, I don't really want to drive little kids in my car. I drive people in my car all the time. I feel very called to like pick people up if they need rides to class or from the airport or things like that. I do try to help whenever I'm able to because I feel like God's blessed me with this really nice car and I want to be able to use it to help people. But with little kids, I kind of don't want like little kids or animals in my car because I do use it for my podcast, for my Dance Journey podcast as well. And I have people in here. It's kind of like a home. I want to keep it smelling nice and clean. I don't want anything to get messed up. And it's just like a huge responsibility to drive little kids around in your car. Like, yes, I used to do that when I was younger in LA when I did a lot of babysitting. But now since I don't really do babysitting as a regular thing, I sort of feel like I don't really want just a few hours a week where I have kids in my car. And then if something happens, it's like this whole ordeal. And it could be a lot of money that I have to pay or I don't know. So I just feel weird about driving them around in my car. But then if we don't have the wagon, the one kid is only 3 years old. And like just walking on those busy streets, I don't think they really want them doing that all the time. However, I'm sure we could have figured something out because they did really like me. And I'm sure if the wagon was the only issue, like we could have figured something out. But I also feel like they were going around my schedule to make it easy for me. So I would often do the babysitting job right after class or right before rehearsal or something like that. So it was nice of them to do that since I was living far away, or since I am living far away. But at the same time, I feel very called to build relationships with people right now, especially dancers. And so after dance class, people often want to hang out and stuff like that. And I would have to race to babysitting. And so there were multiple times when I felt like God said to me in my head, it would have been nice if you didn't have this babysitting job and you could have hung out with these people. And even though that sounds crazy, I know some of you probably think I'm still like so crazy that money isn't more of a priority, but I just feel like in this season of life, God is teaching me to just obey him and watch him provide. And right now, he cares more about me taking dance classes, training in dance, building relationships with people, doing my podcast, writing my book, and helping the people that I live with, and doing some of these house sitting and pet sitting things. But like, I don't really feel like he's telling me to do anything more. And also all of this takes up all my time. And so, yeah, mixed with the fact that I felt like God's been telling me to be more available for people and not have this regular babysitting job, I just kind of was like, I think I just need to bite the bullet and just quit, even though I feel bad and they've been so generous with me and I felt nervous to do it. But I sent them this really long message, like how much I appreciate them, how nice this has been. I think I've been babysitting for them for like 6 months or something. And they sent me this long text back, and it was so nice and so encouraging and just like so supportive of my decision, and just like, we'll miss you, but we love what you're doing. You definitely need to prioritize your dance and your podcast and building relationships that all make sense. And, you've been such a bright light to our family, and you'll always have a place in our family. I mean, it was kind of dramatic, but it was like so nice. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to cry. This is like the nicest text I've ever received. Like, oh my gosh. So that was really nice. I'm glad it went well. They do have another babysitter they also use sometimes. So I think it is going to be fine for them, and they won't be like stranded without a babysitter. So anyway, but I'm done with that. So I'm like, okay, God, like I'm having this fun vacation with my mom, but I'm like, oh my gosh, my mom's about to leave. I don't have any regular work at all anymore. And I guess we're just going to see God provide how he does, And also, I think I mentioned I'm not really getting as many free dance classes as I used to. And so I've been praying about that. Like, God, what do you want me to do about dance, And I sort of feel like he's just giving me the same instructions he gave me when I very first quit my corporate job, which was kind of just like, do whatever you want. Go to any dance class you want. Like back then I had a savings. I had ways to pay for things. And this whole time that I haven't had as much money, God's been providing free classes, like a lot of free classes. And then once in a while I pay for a class, but he always provides some money for that. But now it's like I'm paying for most of my classes instead of getting most of them for free. I still get some for free, but I'm just like, okay, God, should I stop going to this class because it costs too much, or should I? And I feel like God's just like, go to any class you feel led to go to that you want to go to, and just watch me provide, and just keep discerning for yourself. Like if this is a class that's still good for you, still good for your training, or if you want to switch it up, like just go where you want to go and just watch me provide. Like instead of looking at my budget and being like, oh my gosh, I hardly have any money, I should like hold tight to this and like not go to dance. Like I shouldn't spend the few $100s I have on dance classes. Like I barely have any money and I don't have any money coming in. I can't just like spend $23 on a dance class like 3 times a week or something like that. But I feel like God is like, just pay for it. If you have the money, then just pay for it and go to the class and just watch me keep replenishing, watch me keep providing. Like just have faith, like pay for this in faith kind of, And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Like I've just never lived like this before. And I don't know. It's a very interesting experiment, but yeah, I'm feeling kind of free. My mom said when she was here, she's like, you're like a free spirit. I'm like, I am like a free spirit, and I didn't used to be. And it's kind of cool to just be less anxious, be less stressed, pray about everything, and just do what God's putting in my heart and watch him provide. So as I'm thinking about this and I'm thinking about different classes I'm going to pay for, one of my friends reached out and was like, can you dog sit for me for these 5 days or something? And I'm like, and that's a decent amount of money for me. And I'm like, and that's coming up. I'm like, yeah, totally. So that's going to help. And then someone else randomly sent me another animal watching opportunity that her friend was looking for somebody. So I recently reached out to them and we've been chatting. So that might be something. And of course, like people are generous and give gifts. And I don't know who God's going to put on their heart to like possibly donate something soon. I don't know what God's going to do, but I feel like he said, you know, you're going to see the miracles when you need the miracles. So if you keep keeping yourself in a place where you don't need the miracles, like you keep that babysitting job, okay, but then you don't need as many miracles. But if you get rid of it, like I told you to do, you're going to see more miracles because you're going to need them. So I'm going to keep providing for you. And I'm kind of feeling free. Like, yeah, let me try that ballet class by my house and let me pay for these other classes. And there's this Christian dance teacher that's like touring right now and doing classes different places, and it's kind of expensive because her classes have gotten really big. She like used to be in the industry in Hollywood dancing for like 10 years, and then God called her away to lead these Christian dance classes in Dallas, and I guess they started out free. It was like a free thing she was doing, but now it costs money because so many people are coming, and she's touring, and she's going to be in LA and Orange County soon, and I wanted to go to her classes, but they're kind of expensive, and I'm like, God, should I like be going to this? And I just feel like God's like, yeah, go to whatever you want to go to and just watch me provide. And I'm like, okay, so that's the journey we're on. And, you know, I love taking you guys along with me to see how it's going to all work out because I don't even know how it's going to work out. But yeah, I feel like we're kind of starting a new season now that LA Unbound is done. Now that I'm not getting as many classes for free, so I might be going to different classes and just praying about everything. Like, where should I go? Where should I spend my money? And seeing how God's going to provide my money. And that'll be interesting to talk about and share those stories and how he leads me, you know, just even the journey I went on with this crack in my windshield and how he led me to just like not even fix it. And I feel really good about that. We'll see how that goes if I need to fix it later at some point. But I think that's something else I just need to be free from. Well, perfectionism, which I've talked about before, even perfectionism with my car. I just want everything perfect with my car, and just having the capacity to drive around with a windshield that's cracked. That's like me moving forward in a way, because I'm moving forward away from the perfectionism and just like, you know what, it is okay. And even my mom felt like it was okay, which is a big deal. So yeah, we're just on the journey, but that's where I'm at today. And I think I still have time to go to Target and figure out what I need to get here and then go to class. And happy 4th of July. And I guess that's it. We'll see you next time. Bye. Running and college, and why was I talking about running? What on earth was I talking about?